Well, my writing partner and I had been writing together for a long time, kind of trying to break into Hollywood and the studio system, and it was going fine, but we weren't really getting anywhere. And so I think it was in 2011 that I saw Monsters, and I was just kind of re-inspired to actually make a movie. And think about, it's movies that I love, not scripts. So when we started writing Honeymoon, it was this idea that we were going to make the movie no matter what budget level we ended up with. So that was the point that it all started with. This is going to be a film at the end. And, love genre, and I thought about all of the big kind of sci-fi and horror movies that I had grown up watching and that I loved. And I like that people kind of retell the Invasion of the Body Snatchers story in every generation. And so that the hope for this was to try to make an intimate, grounded body snatcher movie.
And this is your directorial debut, right?
Yes.
And so was there a lot of pressure on it or a lot of challenges? Tell me about that.
I think there was a lot of internal pressure from myself, kind of just, I felt confident. You live with the material for so long that I knew what I wanted, but there's still that moment before you get on set of like, what if this all falls apart? And so I think it was mostly me. I was the biggest kind of pressure on myself. I get great support from my crew, my producers, and everything. So it's just me.
And you also have a good cast on this movie.
Yeah.
Did you have a say in who you wanted?
Oh, 100%. I had seen Rose on the first season of Game of Thrones, and I knew her from Downton. And basically, I had read the Game of Thrones books, and her character, Grit, was my favorite, and I knew what was going to happen, and I kind of hoped that I could get in this moment where everything would line up great by the time we were actually, and it did. And I was just very lucky when we kind of just sent the script to her agent in the UK, didn't know what was going to happen, and she responded, and we got in there. So that was very lucky. And then Harry, I had just been looking at, actor after actor, and everyone was kind of blurring together and looking the same. And when I saw his name, I recognized him from Control and Fish Tank, and I was really excited. And I Skyped with him. He was still on set for Lone Ranger. He was in full cowboy drag makeup. And I could tell right away that his presence and his charisma was awesome, and he read for me, and there was no doubt, so yeah.
And so if you were in Paul's position in this movie,
yeah.
Did you come up with different things that he might have done, or what would you have done personally?
I tried to think about the most authentic way that you would deal with this situation. Like, what would I actually do if I was on my honeymoon and I discovered my, new husband in the woods? Like, what would I do? And so it really was, we tried to ask that question from a realistic place at the beginning of each scene. And, I would probably have run out screaming a little bit sooner than him, but I think that my personal point of view is a little different than Paul's. But he doesn't want to believe that something bad is happening, and he doesn't want to think that she's lying to him. Like, leave out all of the other kind of genre elements that are happening. He has such a close relationship with Bea that he can't imagine that what she's telling him is not the truth, even though it keeps inching in and creeping at him a little bit more.
And lastly, what will fans of this genre, what would they get specifically from Honeymoon?
I think that they'll be pleasantly surprised to see the character work up front that then still leads to, hopefully, a satisfying, horrific ending.